Hey guys, and welcome to Mornings with Jazz. If you haven't watched my last video, which is actually my first ever video, then you might not be completely sure about what exactly it is that my channel is about, what I'm about. So please make sure that after you've watched this, you check out my last video, and I'll have that linked below in the description box. Before I get into episode 1 of Mornings with Jazz, I thought that I want to start a few channel traditions. So if you hadn't noticed from my voice, I am British, and I think it's more than fitting for me to talk about the weather. So the weather literally right now, it's not raining, it was raining, it's a bit gloomy. I have my window open right now and the clouds are grey, there's no sunshine. So basically typical British weather. Moving past that though, I am a lover of comfort clothing or loungewear. So I have, even though I don't have any visual, like I'm not recording myself doing this talk, I'll have linked below exactly what it is I'm wearing whilst recording this. So it's all about the lounge wear. So if you're interested, then I'll have that linked below, and leave me a comment if you want me to actually talk about what it is exactly that I'm wearing and why I prefer certain brands to other brands at the beginning of my videos. That's basically what I wanted to talk about. Anyway, let's move past that and let's go straight into episode 1 of Mornings with Jazz. So I'd actually had a different video planned, which I had to reschedule because I thought this was worth pushing that video back a couple of days, because this is a much more pressing matter. And if any of you have read the news, particularly if you are from the UK or you follow me on Twitter, which I'll have linked below, I mentioned some devastating news that occurred actually last month, but it's only just been announced recently, and it's, oh my god, it's some terrible news, and I didn't even think, I had envisioned doing a video about this in the future, but I did not expect something so prevalent to appear over all of the newspapers and all over BBC News and other news outlets in the UK. So a British model, 20 years old, Chloe Ayling, I think her name is spelled. I'll have a picture of her on the screen because I think it's fitting that we know exactly who this has occurred to, and to prevent it from happening in the future. And she was abducted on the 11th of July. She was lured to Milan, Italy by a gang who duped the agency that she was signed with into sending her, and this gang was called the Black Death Group. So she went to Italy, and it was a glamour shoot. She was a known model, a page 3 model for the Daily Star, which is a newspaper here in the UK. After her glamour shoot, she was drugged with ketamine, and if anybody is a horse enthusiast or has a horse or grew up around horses, you may know that ketamine is actually a horse tranquilizer. So she was injected with this, and she actually said that there was 2 people who abducted her, one of whom grabbed her and was wearing black gloves, and then the person who actually drugged her with the ketamine was wearing a black balaclava around his face. It was assumed that it was a he from the build that she described. And after she was tranquilized, she was photographed naked and stuffed inside a bag, so it's a sort of like a suitcase bag, and driven to a farmhouse 120 miles away from the train station in Milan. She actually described her wrists and ankles being handcuffed together and having tape on her mouth, and there was only a small hole in the bag that was allowing her to breathe. So after she was kidnapped, the gang, the Black Death Group, actually put an advert for her on the dark web, which I'll actually be creating another video about, but an advert for her for $300,000, which translates to about £230,000, and they just placed an advert for her. They just put her her body measurements, what she looked like, and they proposed ideas of what could be done with her if somebody bought her. So just a quick overview about the dark web, just in the meantime while I haven't created a video. Essentially, it allows human trafficking. Human trafficking can raise, in terms of money, 115 billion. Basically what the dark web is, it operates out the reach of normal search engines, so like Google, Bing, any other search engine, and it works through a series of deep interconnected websites which are only available if you have a special encryption or an encrypted browser. So that's the only way you'd be able to actually access the dark web. But I think I'm going slightly off topic, so I'm going to channel it right back. So she was put for sale on the dark web, but when the leader of the Black Death gang, which was actually a Polish immigrant who was living in the UK, he's from Birmingham, found out that she was actually a mum of a 2-year-old, he contacted her agency, the one that was duped into sending her, for a ransom. So this guy's name was Paul Herber, I hope I'm saying that right, and he was 30, and he asked the agency for money. He also asked Milan police for £50,000 ransom, and there was a threat to kill basically if they didn't give it. Luckily, which is great news, even though this is disgusting what happened, luckily he was actually caught and is now currently being held in Milan's Opera maximum security prison, according to Chloe Ayling, the girl that was kidnapped. There was actually thought to be 3 other accomplices that helped in her abduction. It was believed that the guy that was actually arrested, Paul Herber, who actually has a different name, that's not actually his name, who's just using an alias. When he found out that she had a child, he told his other accomplices that it was against his rules for him to sell someone over the dark web to someone could be basically sex trafficking a mother of a 2-year-old. I mean, is he silly? What do you mean it's against his rules? Like, obviously sex trafficking at all doesn't matter if they're a mom of a 2-year-old is wrong. What was he thinking? I have no idea. Anyway, he said to the Interpol police that he actually earned 15 million euros in 5 years selling women, and these women were mostly sold to people in Arab countries. When I make a video on sex trafficking, I'll probably go over figures of where most people are sold to, but I mean, this is just disgusting. That was basically everything I wanted to say about what exactly it was that happened. So that was the informative side. I just kind of want to go into how she's just trying to make a life for herself and her son. Most people will say she shouldn't be a glamour model. Then I know some newspapers and other websites online have been posting her pictures from her social medias, which I assume isn't private. If she's a model, she wants people to see her portfolio and see what she looks like. And I do admit some of her photos are provocative, but you can't hinder yourself thinking, oh, someone's going to see this picture, dupe me into going to Milan, Italy, and then kidnap me and abduct me and try to sell me for £230,000 on the dark web. This just doesn't, oh my God, I've watched Taken. I've watched all the Takens, and this is actually one of the things they mentioned in the first movie, and I just thought, oh, this is I know it happens, and I know it happens all the time, and this hasn't happened just to her, but we just need to spread awareness about the topic. I feel like people shy away from it because, like I said, I'll try to make another video on human trafficking in general, not just sex trafficking, just generally human trafficking. But 21 million people have been trafficked that we know of. What about people we don't know of? And that's about 32 billion in profits, because just think about it, they were selling her for 250 or 230,000 pounds. Imagine how much they're selling other people for on the dark web. Oh my God, I can't believe that this has happened. What's even more shocking is that 29 countries haven't actually even signed to the is it called the Palmero protocol? I'll have it written on the screen because I'm not exactly sure how to say it. But 29 countries haven't adopted this protocol. If someone like the sex trafficking or human trafficking protocol that needs to be followed everywhere, why are they not registered to this? But that's beyond. All I wanted to say is I think it's horrible and that we need to make awareness. In the age of social media, it's really not difficult to get news out there as long as it's accurate. So if there's anything that I've missed out or anything I've said incorrectly, then please do correct me in the comments and I'll try and add those corrections. I'll try and pin the comment, or I'll change my description box to add any inaccuracies in what I'm saying. So if you guys have an opinion, then please tweet me. So I'll have my Twitter at the end of this video or in the description box. So tweet me, leave a comment on this video, just raise awareness. If you can, you know what, I'll leave an article link in the description box where all of this information will be displayed, because I explored a range of sources. I looked at newspapers, articles online, and that's where I got all this information from. So I'll try to leave at least one, if not 2 or 3 articles that are online. I'll leave them in the description box and you can check them out. Also, before I go, if you can, if you're from a different country maybe, or even if you're from the UK, if you're from anywhere, please tweet about this. Or not, you don't have to tag me in the tweet or anything if you don't want to, but if you can, tweet about what's happened. People need to know. And I know this isn't the only person it's happened to, and it probably happens all the time, but why am I not hearing about it is my question. I'm always on social media, always, and I actually read the news quite often. I'm an avid news reader, I just am. And when I read something and it interests me, I will go and research it. And that's really important, because sometimes if you read from just one source or listen to just one source, if you're listening to the radio or listening to the news in the morning, you don't get all the information. So make sure you go and search yourself and find out all the accurate information, and try to keep yourself as well informed as you can about situations like these, because if anything like this happened to anybody close to you or anybody you know, you would be devastated and you would want other people to make sure that they're getting the word out. Share news articles from, I don't know, BBC or Daily Mail or CNN. I'm not sure if CNN covered it. I think I did read something on CNN though. Or any other news outlet, or you can share this video, because I think I pretty much put as much information as I could in a small amount of time. I mean, where I was actually saying all the information was pretty short. I mean, I know I've kind of rambled on a bit now. Also, just before I leave you to ponder over this topic and start a discussion in the comments box or on Twitter, if you do suspect human trafficking for anybody, or you think anything's going on near you, or you know someone that's talking about it, you can report a tip. So I'll have some links down below in the description box. You can report a tip to the National Human Trafficking Organization if you just search that on the internet, so Google it or whatever. The International Justice Mission, which is US based, but it's international, so as it says in the name, so you can do it from wherever. Another one for the UK in particular is Unseen, and there's a Polaris project. All of these you can do extra research on. You can actually volunteer to help with a lot of them. I think they all have websites and they all have social media accounts which you can go and check out. I'm sure they advertise, well, I say advertise, but like spread news about people that have gone missing. So if you do know anything, then please do report a tip or try and help out if you can. There's loads of ways that you can support such causes. Going to events, just posting on social media can help so much. You can actually donate to the cause, but if you're not comfortable with that, that's absolutely fine. Just sharing a news article about someone missing could actually help you find them, and I think that is incredible. So if you could do that, that would be fabulous. If you have a story that's particularly close to your heart, then please do share it and actually tweet me, and I might be able to help you spread some news. I will try and share the article myself. So anyway, thank you for listening. I know this videos can get super long towards the end where I keep talking, but if you do like my video, please comment about what you think about this. If you know anybody this has happened to, or another story that's actually occurring at the same time, or if this has happened to you, please do let us know in the comments below. Tweet me on Twitter at morningswithjaz, but like I said, everything will be in the box. Share this video, give me any constructive criticism. If you feel like I talk too much, you can tell me. And I think that's it. I guess this is good, and I hope that you guys keep an open mind, keep free thinking, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.